Hey there everyone, welcome back to Adam's Kitchen. So today we're going to be making creamy, cheesy spinach artichoke dip, which is really great with chips, vegetables, and you can even stuff it in a chicken breast and bake it, which comes out really great and gooey. So let's get started by assembling our ingredients. So we have some shredded mozzarella, Parmesan cheese, chopped garlic, olive oil, cream cheese, Greek yogurt, and of course lots of spinach. In this recipe I chose to use frozen spinach because spinach is out of season where I live. We'll start by adding some olive oil. Once that's heated up, we'll toast our garlic until it becomes fragrant and a little bit crispy and brown. Be sure to keep an eye on it and control your heat because the brownness of the garlic can turn very quickly from a light toasty brown color to a dark black burnt color. When it comes to cooking, I think one of the most important things you can do is always control the heat. Next, we're going to add the frozen spinach, which has been thawed out, but it still is a little bit frozen. And when you add the spinach, be aware that it is going to reduce the temperature of your pan, so you might have to mix it in and cook it out a little bit longer. One of the things I like about using frozen spinach is that it's usually a lot more fresh than what you would get at your supermarket. Because if you think about it, if you're living in a place where spinach isn't in season and your supermarket has it, that means they had to ship it from a place that's pretty far away. So from the time it gets taken from the farm, processed at the factory, boxed up, packaged, and shipped to the supermarket, then brought to your table, it's well over a week old. That's why sometimes I prefer to use frozen vegetables when things are out of season. Alright, so here, everything seems to be melted pretty well. Just combining everything, mixing everything together to get all those flavors mixed together. Alright, now that's done, let's add our artichoke hearts. Now I usually use canned artichokes because it's a lot easier to work with versus fresh. Where fresh you have to do a lot of processing. But the canned, it tastes just as great and it's already pretty soft. And in addition to the intro of this video, I completely forgot to include the artichoke hearts. So it's a key ingredient, so be sure not to miss. Alright, so it just mixes all around, pretty much just to incorporate them. There's really not much cooking necessary for this step. Alright, looks pretty good. So now let's add our cream cheese. Now I cut the cream cheese into cubes to help melt it faster. You can cut it into even smaller cubes if you'd like to make it melt even quicker. And in this process, we're pretty much just melting the cheese. We're not really worried about cooking anything at all. The cream cheese I'm using was left out at room temperature for at least 10 to 15 minutes. That's looking really nice and creamy. So let's go on and start adding our Greek yogurt, which gives it a little bit of tartness or sourness. You can use sour cream for this step, but I find that Greek yogurt plain Greek yogurt is pretty close in flavor and texture, and it's not as expensive where I live. Alright, now on to the fun part of adding in the cheese. And I think we'll start with mozzarella first. And when it comes to the cheese, you can add as little or as much as you like, because it all comes down to preference at this point. In my case, I really wanted something really cheesy and really gooey, and the more cheese you add, the more firm it will be. Just think, the more cheese, the more gooey, the more solid. Less cheese, the more creamy it will be. So let's look now that everything's melted and incorporated together. Let's do the gooey test. That's perfect. Look how gooey that is. That's so great. Looks like hair. Cheese hair. There you go. And if that weren't enough cheese, let's add some Parmesan. Now, of course, if you can afford to use fresh Parmesan, that'd be great. But in this case, I'm using the canned Parmesan that you would often use on top of like pasta and such. But it works just as well for recipes like this. Not really going for high-end here. This is more or less a dip or something to enjoy with family and friends while watching a movie or having a party. It's really great, especially for like potluck parties. You can eat it hot, you can eat it cold. I, of course, prefer to eat it hot or just sticking in the microwave for 30 seconds, but I do have friends that prefer or like to eat it cold as well. Whatever suits your needs. And we're pretty much done at this point. Now, as I said before, you could enjoy this with tortilla chips, or you can make some croutons or other kinds of dipping implements. Sliced carrots, sliced cucumber. In this case, I sliced a baguette, and I'm going to enjoy it like this. Now, this bread is not toasted, but of course you can toast it, and it's just as great that way too. Oh, it was so good. And a sampling wouldn't be complete without a tortilla chip, so let's give that a taste. Having to use a fork because I think the cheesiness would probably snap the tortilla chip in half. And yep, it's just as delicious. So there you have it, your spinach artichoke dip complete. So here, as you notice in the ramekin, I also toasted some in the toaster oven to make it a little bit more cheesier. I put some more cheese on top and toasted that as well. And I sliced up the remaining of the baguette and toasted that with some Italian parsley and olive oil on top. And that really made a great complement as well. So I recommend try this any way that you see. You know, tortilla chips, slice of baguette, some vegetables. It's all really great. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you give it a try yourself at home at your next party or anytime you're craving a good cheesy snack. So as always, please try to keep things simple, try to prep as much as possible, and enjoy cooking. Thanks everyone. See you next week.